Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zachary Nolan. Carter Nolan is behind the camera.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. We really do appreciate that, or drop a like. It does help us out. But yeah, what are we here to discuss? We are here to discuss a preview before the Winnipeg Jets play against the Vegas Golden Knights in round 1 of the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs. Exciting and nervous are the only two words that I think truly captures the feelings that many teams and many fan bases are having, especially if you're kind of in a little bit of limbo, which is the fan base of the Winnipeg Jets. I think I can speak for everyone when I say I have faith, a little bit of faith in this series. I really do. And it could be unbeknownst, but even pundits and analytics have showed that this is the closest series on paper in any other, compared to other, playoff rounds. Whereas there are certain teams that have certain favorites, even though they're not, shoo-in, sure-thing bets, there are a lot of people that aren't really sure what to make of this series because there's a lot of factors going in. So the Winnipeg Jets finish in the second wildcard spot. They will be playing against the Vegas Golden Knights, who have finished with their best record in franchise history, getting 50 wins on the year. 50, 22, and 9, I want to say. Could be... Math ain't checking out there, but, it's something around those lines. 50, 22, and 10, maybe. But, the point is that this is a very hot Vegas team, and they're going to be possibly having to work with, they're going to have to work with a lot of factors changing their roster. For example, Mark Stone may or may not be back. It's a question as...
I think he is.
He is back. Is he going to be 100% though? That is the question, and I don't think he will be. This is Jack Eichel's first ever playoffs coming in. Oh boy, you can't wait to see what type of a run that encapsulates. And with the Vegas Golden Knights, their goaltending situation is theoretically, they have 4 goalies they can pick from. With Adin Hill, Logan Thompson, Jonathan Quick, and Laurent Brossoit. And however, what has happened is that they've already decided, and it is already broken, that Laurent Brossoit will start Game 1 against the Winnipeg Jets, which is important because he's a former goaltender of the Winnipeg Jets. He was the former backup behind Connor Hellebuck in the 2020 and 2021 season. He did fine. He did fine as a backup goalie. He was pretty good. Nothing spectacular, but he was great. He was solid. He's now been on a little bit of a run with Vegas. He's only played 10 games this season, but he's went 7-0-3. He'll be backed up by Jonathan Quick with Adin Hill as a reserve. Logan Thompson has not been medically cleared, so he will be expected to possibly come back into the rotation near the end of this series, theoretically, which is big because technically he is their starter. I would like to say that out of the bunch, the 4 goalies, right now, with full potential, he's the best goalie out of the 4. Adin Hill, I don't think will ever see the net in this series, and if he does, something has gone horribly wrong for the Vegas Golden Knights. Jonathan Quick could be getting seen in this, if there is a bit of, shall we say, problems for Laurent Brossoit, and that is the question. Is there going to be problems for Laurent Brossoit? I think there could be. Granted, he's been playing his best hockey of his career, but he has not beaten the Winnipeg Jets since leaving the Winnipeg Jets. He's 0-2, and he was pulled one of those games last year, and this was against a much weaker Winnipeg Jets team. This year, it's looking like, honestly, the biggest problem, though, for Vegas is biggest problem for Winnipeg, shall I say, is no matter how much Vegas' goaltending will falter, their offense and defense most likely will not. And they have almost, it feels like hundreds of weapons that can kill you on offense. They are a 4-line team, honestly, with getting offense from everywhere, and their defense is nothing to shrug at. Now, will that be a big impact? Yes, it will. It'll also be interesting to see how their styles mesh. Bruce Cassidy who's coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, has had a lot of success coaching teams in the playoffs in the past. So too is Rick Bowness of the Winnipeg Jets. But Bruce Cassidy, I would say, has a better record at getting teams at least out of the first round. He's gotten Bruins teams out of the first round no matter what. That being said, let's kind of flip the coin here for a second, and let's look at your Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are coming in to this series with so many questions. Connor Hellebuyck is no doubt the favorite in the goaltending department with Laurent Brossoit. How will his interactions be against the Vegas Golden Knights? Despite being the superior goalie in this matchup, he has lost all 3 games this season against the Vegas Golden Knights. 1 in overtime, 2 in regulation. Now, it is worth noting, all 3 of those games took place early in the year, when actually the Jets were arguably at a stronger point, however, had not been at a battle-tested point. They had gotten through the hardships of having teams adapt to their system yet. Now they have, and what are we left with? And that is a massive question as Jets fans. I expect this series to be hard-hitting. I expect it to be fast. I see Winnipeg as the more playoff... They have more playoff experience than Vegas, only in certain departments. Because Vegas has made the playoffs the last 5 out of 6 times. Both teams have went on the same run. The core for the Jets is the same as their 2018 playoff run, with some changes, obviously. Some stylistic changes, especially on defense. The Vegas Golden Knights core changes pretty much every season. They just throw out money for the new tools. They're spending at $16 million over the cap with this team, which is infuriating as a hockey fan in Canada, but understandable as somebody who knows how the cap works. The Jets are definitely not the favorites in this series, but they are the fan favorite in this series. Nobody wants the Vegas Golden Knights to succeed, and it makes sense. Nobody wants that image of a team buying their way to a championship. And that's mostly what the Vegas Golden Knights have been able to do so far. They have got tantalizingly close to success, all for it to be ripped away back in 2018. And since then, they have not been able to climb back to that mountaintop. The Jets, on the other hand, have had to claw for every bloody inch. This Jets team, with the possibility of Cole Perfetti coming back, can be dangerous. There are certain stylistic changes I would make to this Jets team if they're going to be successful. For example, Saku Minalainen can get fired out of a fucking cannon. I don't want to see him on the ice. Kevin Stenlund will probably be injured for Game 1. Not a huge loss. I'd slot in David Gustafsson there. He's a defensive responsible centerman who can win some faceoffs. Not as much as Kevin Stenlund. Stenlund's probably our best faceoff guy, which is annoying to have to admit, but it is what it is. Although Stenny has been great on the penalty kill, and that's another thing we need to talk about. The penalty kill for the Jets are going to be huge. Because the Jets don't take penalties very often, but killing those penalties are essential to having a successful playoff series. You cannot let teams bank on 2 of their goals being on the power play. Otherwise, you're always going to be playing catch-up. The Jets need to strike fast. They need to strike first. They cannot get behind the 8 ball because they have not shown a lot of compete levels. They've been known to crumble when teams get big leads on them or any leads on them. I feel like Game 1 is really essential. The Winnipeg Jets franchise has never won a series where they've lost Game 1. And every time they've won Game 1, except for once against the Vegas Golden Knights, they have won the series. So what that means is if the Jets are ever losing in this series, they've never won. They've never won from behind, which is a bit daunting going in. But also, that being said, as the underdog, the Jets actually have a better record than they are when they are the analytical favorite. The Jets were the favorite to beat Calgary in the play-ins. They lost. They were the favorite to beat Montreal. They were not the favorite to beat the Oilers. They swept them. They weren't the favorite to beat Anaheim. They lost to them. They were not the favorite to beat Nashville. They beat them. It's a slight margin of 2-1, but when they haven't been the favorite, they have been able to play up to their opponent, which is a good sign. I think a lot of these games will be competitive, and I'm hoping none really turn into kind of a mercy killing, which I really hope doesn't happen. I'm going to Game 3, and I'm going to the whiteout party in Game 4. We're live streaming Games 1 and 2. It's going to be big. The Jets just need to have they need to be running 4 lines. And they need to keep, and all of the lines, honestly, the way I would do it is if Perfetti comes back, slot him into the 4th line for the first game or the first period. Let him slowly progress his way up the lineup. I think it's key that you keep that 3rd line as Niederreiter, Appleton, and Lowry, with Barron being the shooter for the 4th line. I think that's a good combination. I think bottom 6-wise, the Jets actually have a decent matchup there. The top 6 has to be there, and the power play needs to click. I don't give a how you do it. You got to work your magic on that power play. But yeah, it's going to be a tight series. Now, realistically, I think Vegas probably wins this in 6 because I don't see it. But also, too, I'm also actively trying to reverse psychology this playoff series win into existence. But yeah, guys, I want to know, what are your guys' thoughts and feelings on this playoff matchup? Do you like it? How many games do you think? What are your predictions down below? Let us know down below in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. It really does help us out. And subscribe. We're hoping to hit, by the end of the playoffs, we're hoping to hit 1,400 subscribers. So, lofty goal, but we've done it before. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Connor, the old Spencer top for Connor,